Hi, hello, welcome back to the Knits by Lillian podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about all things knitting, things that I'm working on, things that I'm designing, things that I'm about to cast on. And it's exciting because it's getting into fall season time, even though it's still 75 degrees out and I'm wearing a small crop top. But we've cast on fall projects. If you saw the last video, you know we're already into colorwork season. So grab your knitting, grab a bev. I have literally the last singular sip of an iced latte here. Grab your knitting assistant, your unwilling assistant. Okay, we'll let her go. And without further ado, let's crack into it. So before we get started, this is the Camisole number 7 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. It is an all over broken rib situation. Let me just show you my second one. So this sample is in Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino. And then I apologize in advance, I'm not sure what my second sample is, but similar vibe. Sorry, I got an olive hair in my nose from her running away so quickly. This is a cotton merino blend. Same exact thing here. We've got that all over broken rib pattern and then this really nice detail in the front. So right off the bat, I did a few things differently. On this second sample, I did just a little bit of body shaping because the first one, this brown one that I have on, is just a little bit wider through the body than I'd like it to be. It doesn't have any bust or chest shaping despite the fact that it kind of looks like it does with those details here. This actually isn't any shaping. You can see like this side stays flat. So I did just a little bit of my own shaping on this one. It's much more cropped than the pattern recommends. This one is a little bit more cropped because I ran out of yarn. But I think the pattern recommends like an additional 10 to 14 inches or something after you split for the armholes. And I think I did about 8 inches. Yeah, my hand is about 8 inches. So what did I do differently on this pattern? The biggest thing is that I made the straps longer before I started doing any shaping for this actual top. So I think it recommends like maybe 10 rows or something, and I did probably double that. So this V-neck in the initial pattern is sitting much higher up. It's a lot more of like, kind of looks like a halter top in the pictures, but it's definitely not. I knew that, you know, it's summer, I want the least amount of fabric kind of on my chest and back as possible because the back is up just a little bit higher than the front in this pattern. So you can kind of see there that this back is raised up just a little bit. So just for sweating purposes, I wanted it to be as low coverage as possible. So I deepened that V-neck a little bit. Everything else is just about the same. I think I did a size 2 or 3. Can't remember, but I do, maybe size 3. I do love this. This is probably my most worn knit of the entire year. I think I talked about it a little bit in a summer pattern video, but I really have struggled in the past with finding summer patterns that I actually want to wear. I want to cast on all of them. That's not the problem. I love the look of a knitted top, but I very rarely reach for them in my wardrobe, and I think the issue is that most of the ones I've done have a very high neck, so it's basically like a sweater with no sleeves, right? Like sort of a knitted tank top, and they're so cute. And I do wear them in fall with like a denim jacket or a shirt open like over the top, but I never wear them in the summer, and I think it's just because they're too warm. And so solution 1 is cotton yarn. Obviously that's a lot cooler than merino wool or alpaca or anything else. I think the second thing that really is pulling me to wear this is that brown color. I mimicked the color of a summer tank top that I already have and that I wear frequently. So I've done that in the past too, where I've knitted something that looks a lot like something that I already own. So I think that was the second success. And then the third success is just how open and drapey it is. I mean, you can kind of tell there's quite a bit of positive ease through here. It's not tight at all. I think it drapes really well. It looks great with things that I already own in my wardrobe. So I'd highly recommend this. It's so funny, I went to knit night and somebody else has the exact same one, also in brown. And between the two of us, I think we convinced our whole knit night to cast one on. So I'm so excited because I love when you find a pattern that you really love and genuinely wear. It's so funny too because I've been wearing like this exact outfit. I have a pair of light wash denim jeans and then these like brown sneakers. They're like white and brown, and so I feel like it looks really put together between like the shoe matching and then the texture of the shirt. I feel like it looks interesting, you know? It's not just, I feel like a lot of times in the summer I wear like the same denim shorts and then some variation of like a tank top or a crop t-shirt, and I'm like, that's fine, but like I want to do something more fun, more interesting. So this has been a big hit. Like, even on camera I feel like it looks so good. And the last thing I'll say about it is that the texture I think is so nice. Like I'm a huge sucker for a broken rib. I feel like it kind of gives the illusion of sort of a fisherman's rib, but without taking a ton of time, a ton of yarn, and making a really warm garment. And it's just enough texture, I think, to be, again, a little bit interesting, but not overpowering, because sometimes I think I've knitted t-shirts and tank tops in the past where it's like a little bit too much. Like I have a really fun one that I did for a test knit for, I think what Lydia Made, I think is their name on Instagram. Anyway, it's really cool. I'll link it in the description. It's a really cool like biking racer t-shirt situation. So it's got a tiny zipper and then the whole thing is like color blocking, and then they gave lettering. How do I explain this? There's charts included in the pattern for you to write your own lettering in duplicate stitch, so like sewing on top of, embroidering on top of your knitting, like across the chest, so it looks like a biking t-shirt or racing top. I don't know what it's called. Somebody who bikes, comment, tell me what that is. But it, like, okay, for example, it looks really cool. It was really fun to knit. It looks really cool. It's kind of a lot to just wear because I feel like it's really an attention grabbing piece. Now sometimes that's what I'm going for, but a lot of times if I'm just going to like work in a coffee shop or go for a walk or something, it's kind of a lot. So all that to say, we're back to the basics for summer. And I've talked about this before too, that t-shirts aren't my favorite to knit, just because I feel like if I get a lot of knitted fabric kind of in my armpit area, I just sweat a lot. It's warm, okay? It's been a humid, hot summer. If I'm outside, I'm probably doing a physical activity. I'm playing pickleball, I'm going for a walk, I'm doing something, and I just want something where I'm not gonna sweat. So, okay, I highly recommend this pattern. It works up pretty quick, especially if you do kind of what I did and extend this top portion where there's hardly any stitches and then crop the body, because the length kind of evens out. I want to say I did like 10 inches for the body on this one, which is ideally what I would have done for the second one too, but again, we lost yarn chicken. So that's all I'll say about that. Really like it. I'm debating a third one. I think a burnt orange would be really cool. I think a black would be really cool, or like a bright blue. Let me know what you think. Also a forest green. I just love it and I've worn it every day, so it's been my summer fixation piece. Okay, so right after I say that I get too warm if there's too much fabric, here's my next highly textured summer knit that might make me too warm. Okay, so I've talked about this in a couple videos at this point, but we've made some progress on her, okay? So this is the Aigues top. Come on. The texture looks so good. Okay, hold on, let me spread it out a little bit here. Oh, we have another cat sighting. Should we grab the other cat? This is the littler cat. She's a menace. Say hello. This is good luck. We have a double cat sighting. So make a wish on the second cat. I don't know. Okay, be gone. I'm sorry, I faked her out. If she gets up here though, this is all gonna be sat on and eaten. Okay, so back to it. Oh, hang on. So, okay, we've got, first of all, get a look at that texture. We've got twisted rib or half twisted rib for this top section up here, and then it seamlessly flows into this lace cabled stitch texture. I just joined for the body. Oh no, see, now we lured her in. So I've got probably about 8 to 10 inches to go on this one. I'm going for a similar length to what I have now. What do you think? Should we knit you a matching one? I'm gonna have to get rid of her. So in the end pattern, it has just a little bit of ribbing worked on this armhole sleeve opening. So it gives the look of kind of having like a little bit of a cap sleeve, which I think is really cute. And I think it's gonna be a good in-between from not being a t-shirt, but being a little bit more, I don't wanna use the word coverage because I feel like this is plenty of coverage, but a little bit more neckline coverage shaping, a different shape, a different vibe to the shirt that I have on currently. So I think this color is gonna be good. I feel like I'm doing my own like color theory, like, you know, when people hold up and they go, oh, doesn't it make your skin look clear? Doesn't it make your eyes pop? What do we think? Are my eyes popping? Oh no. This is a free pattern. So go download this on Ravelry. I'm gonna see if I can show you a little bit more close up what we're doing with the texture here. So since it's a free pattern, I'm just gonna talk about it freely because you can just go grab this. So it works from this broken rib, or sorry, this twisted rib right into, you've got some little yarn over eyelets here. And then these are 4 stitch cables, so 2 over 2 cross, and they cross in together here and then out over here to create this kind of V situation. So I think it looks really cool because it looks pretty much the same upside down as it does upside right, which I think is really cool and symmetrical. And I really like the way that it blends so well into that half twisted rib. The yarn I'm using for this is Pascuali Cumbria. This is the color Rose Quartz number 345. So it's a cotton, I think cotton bamboo, yeah, cotton viscose bamboo blend. So it feels really, really nice. It's got a really like low-key casual sheen to it, just a hint of shine. I feel like sometimes bamboo yarns are so shiny that they're slippery, and I don't mind the look of it necessarily, but I find them really hard to work with. I am a loose knitter through and through. I tend to be very loose. So a lot of times I'll have trouble with these more slippery, less grippy yarns. And the problem is that they work great for situations like this. Like the drape here, I don't know how to demonstrate that it drapes well, but the drape is so nice. I think the feel on skin is gonna be great. It feels like a very cool and very soft yarn, but I am struggling to knit this tight enough. I'm very consciously aware of my tension. I'm trying not to do it. Sometimes I will like read on my iPad or something. I say like a 90-year-old on my iPad. Sometimes I'll read while I knit, or I'll watch a show or something, but as soon as I start thinking about the plot of something else, stitches are loose. So I've been into big audiobook podcast phase while I've been working on this because it's just a little bit easier for me, obviously, not to look away. Speaking of, I don't know if you want a podcast recommendation, but here you go. My neighbor actually recommended this to me. So I work in healthcare, and I find if you've listened to like true crime podcasts or any sort of real world going on event podcasts, I love ones that are directed toward healthcare or healthcare practice. So if you've listened to like Dr. Death or something sort of about like medical malpractice issues, this is a great podcast for you. It's called The Retrievals. It's by the New York Times. It's about women who went through IVF for egg retrieval and how a nurse was stealing the fentanyl and replacing it with saline. So taking drugs from the operating room and replacing it with basically salt water. And so these women were having operations, basically egg retrievals with no pain medication. And so it also talks a lot about the ethical standpoint of how women's pain is managed in healthcare and when women are and are not believed. And so as a woman, as someone who works in healthcare, I find it so interesting because in a lot of ways we've come so far, right, from like women's rights in the 50s or the 1800s, and we've made a lot of strides, but there's still a big gap in between how men's pain is handled and believed and how women's pain is handled and believed. So if that's something you're interested in, sorry for my side tangent, but it was really interesting. And I wonder if you guys have this too, where if I'm working on a project and I'm listening to a book or watching a show or reading something, I associate that project with that media. So this is definitely a Retrievals podcast knitted item. I'm a big fan of several other podcasts, so if you want more recommendations, or if you want me to talk about what I'm reading or listening to or watching, let me know, because I've got recommendations out the wazoo. So this, I feel like, is going to be associated with that for me, which is fine. I do not mind that at all. It was such an interesting and such a well done podcast too, and they did a really good job of interviewing these women who had these real experiences, but holding space for the trauma that they endured. And I don't know, just, it was very well informed. Listen to it and let me know what you think, so we can discuss. We can have our own little podcast book club. Anyway, back to the knitting. I think I've done everything to pattern here. I've got a few more balls of yarn, so I think we should have plenty to make it long enough. But yeah, I'm loving this. I think it looks so cool. I think it looks like such a statement piece. As I said this, oh my god, I need to stop doing that. Will she learn? Clearly not. As I was saying, this brown piece is kind of a basic. It's also a little bit of a statement piece for me. I don't know, it kind of like, depending on the vibe, is both. Like when I first started wearing it, I was like, whoa, I'm wearing knitwear in summer, who is she? But now I'm like, yeah, I wear this every day, it's basic. So it kind of gave me the confidence to cast on something a little bit more interesting, textured, colorful, all of the above. That's how we ended up with this. So I'll keep you posted. I think it's turning out really cool, and it's really fun to knit. Do you guys want to answer my spam call? Okay, be right back. Hold on. All right, so moving far out of summer garments, I think this is something that I've talked about before, but I knitted up in a storm in the spring and then never finished all of the finishing touches. So this is the Olga Jacket by Petite Knit. Oh yeah, look at that color. This screams fall to me. So I found this and I thought it was done, but I just have the neckline ribbing to do. So we've got, it's a cardigan or a jacket. It's got, sorry, it's curling up so much. It's unblocked, so leave me alone. We've got button bands here, and then I made this really, really cropped. And we've got trim on the bottom. So I saw, this was probably like April, I don't know. I saw somebody on Instagram make this jacket in these exact colors and make it really cropped. And they wore it with kind of like darker wash, very high-waisted, wide leg jeans. And I was like, yeah, that's an outfit that I'm gonna need ASAP. So this is Cascade 220. Honestly, the color looks so good. I love Cascade. It works so well for Colorwork too. And even though this is just stripes, look at how crisp that is. Like these lines, those are crunchy. That's like take a bite out of a fresh green apple, first sip of a cold glass of white wine, crispy, crunchy, fresh. Okay, so loving that. And we've got a really nice detail too here along the like shoulder back line. So it's a drop shoulder, so this is all worked through here and then picked up along there. So it's all, sorry, it's kind of a weird angle. I really like that detail though. I think that angle is really nice. And then yeah, you pick up for a sleeve. Ironically, so I knit the Olga sweater sometime last year and I haven't worn it at all. I haven't even blocked it because I didn't like how it turned out. I didn't like the fit. And I know I should block it and make sure, but the issue is I used white yarn for one of the stripes and then like a marled blue, purple, pink. It kind of looks like hand spun yarn where it's got different chunks throughout the thread. And the color pooled a lot more than I thought it was going to. So you know how like when you knit with a hand dyed or a multicolor yarn, you can either have the color be spread out a lot, or you can have it where all the pink ends up here, all the purple, all the blue. And so it really did that, and I didn't like how it turned out, and I really liked that yarn, so I kind of wanted to do something else with it. I haven't unraveled it yet, what I've done with it actually is a shame. I've set it on my living room floor as a decoy sweater for this cat right here because she loves to claw and like knead at what I'm knitting on, which rips it up, and I want her to live her dream. So it's become kind of her bed in the living room, which I shouldn't say, that's kind of a waste of a sweater. But it works really well because I set it on the floor and I go, oh no, no, don't need that sweater. Oh no. And it works every time. And then she sits on that set of my yarn. So I don't, anyway, I didn't think I was gonna make this because I didn't like the sweater version, but I think I really like the jacket. I did a different size and I made it very cropped, and I think those both helped. And I think I like this fit as a cardigan more than I do as a pullover. I don't know. There was just something about like, so Petite knit, right? I love her patterns, but a lot of her patterns have a ton of positive ease, which is fine. But I end up sizing down a lot. And so a lot of times she'll do a drop shoulder, which I really like. I love how drop shoulder looks. I love how it fits. But the shoulders were just like, maybe I picked the wrong size or I was off gauge. So maybe it was on my end too, but the shoulders were just too wide, I think. And then I don't know, maybe I didn't make the rest of it oversized enough, so it was like a mismatch. Anyway, I'm not here to hate on her pattern. I think it was my interpretation of it, and I really like the jacket. I honestly forgot about this, and then I was going through a bag of whips that I need to finish, and I was like, what's this doing in there? That's done. So I'm gonna throw a collar on here, and then it's gonna be a little bit chilly this weekend, so hopefully I can block it today and wear it this weekend. How lovely is that? But I cannot get over how crispy this yarn looks. Like those, I just wanna, you know, the stripes are just so good. I think that, ooh, maybe that's part of the problem too. I think the stripes weren't that defined in the last one. The camera's shaking because my cat's taking a bath on the table. Ma'am, can you be gone, please? Okay, hold on. I need to escort her. I'll be right back. Okay, so this is where we really lose the plot here, okay? So, you know what? I'll just show you what we're working with first, and then we'll discuss. This is my Wintergarden pullover. Not bad, hey? The color work looks lovely. I've got the body done and the sleeves. Sleeve 1 is done. Sleeve 2 is nearly done. Here's the problem, okay? So this is supposed to be worked bottom up and steeked. So where you knit the whole thing in one tube and then you reinforce and cut down through the armhole and then pick up for stitches, cast on your arm like that. Long story short, I did it flat. So this is really what we have here. Due to a myriad of problems, I decided to do it flat. Problem A, the pattern only has 2 sizes, which is fine. I knew that going into it. It's an older pattern. I think it was written in 2004. So it's a little bit, it's like knitting an older traditional Norwegian Scandinavian style pattern. Okay. Problem 2, I had this yarn from Drops. So I'm using 2 alpacas. This is Drops alpaca, I forgot which one, the thinner one. And then this is Barocco alpaca light. So I knew I wanted to do this like charcoal and gray, charcoal and beigey gray situation because I saw someone on Instagram and I was like, yeah, I want to copy that exact pattern. The other thing is I was over gauge. So my gauge was too big, which is fine. However, I also wanted the sweater to be smaller. So the smaller size of the 2 in the pattern was still quite a bit too big for me, or would still have quite a bit of positive ease. And I think I talked about this before. I talked about like my thought process in the last video. So if you want to see more rambling about this mess, check out my last video. But long story short, I've knitted a couple of very oversized Colorwork sweaters before, and I just don't wear them. So I wanted to make one that's smaller and more fitted. So my initial plan was to still work it in the round, but I wasn't sure if it was working up to the right size. So I don't mind working Colorwork flat. I honestly kind of enjoy it. So I ended up doing the front and back as flat panels. And then I did a 3-needle bind off for the top here, which honestly looks pretty seamless. So I did a 3-needle bind off here and then picked up stitches for the sleeve on the side. So I also made it quite a bit more cropped than the pattern suggests, because again, I wanted it to be fitted. The other thing is too, I'm pretty short. I'm like 5'3", 5'4", and I always wear high-waisted pants, so I know that if I wear a cropped sweater, that's gonna be fine. Like, my pants are like up here right now. So, okay, all of that being said, my goal here was not, maybe like 2 inches of positive ease, which I definitely got in the body. And then I wanted the sleeves to be kind of pseudo set in, but I didn't realize this until I was really through the front panel. So what my plan here is, I cast on just a couple, like 4 or 5 additional stitches when I connected the arm. So I picked up stitches along the top here for the sleeve, and I'm working the sleeve in the round, which, add that to the list of problems. Is my stitch gauge in the round and flat the same? I don't know, because I didn't gauge swatch, but it doesn't matter because it's working out fine. So my plan here is to knit just another little strip here and then stitch that in. So I think I'm gonna do, the bottom of the sleeve has kind of a 1x1 Colorwork panel so that the decreases can be worked really seamlessly into that. So I think I'm gonna do something like that along the bottom. I thought about doing another repeat of this braid, but I think that's just gonna be too wide. So let me show you in my sketch what I'm doing, right? We've got this panel here. Hold on. Here's our front panel, right? Literally a square. Oh, I also added my own short rows because I told someone at Knit Night this. This shouldn't work out this well. Like, I kind of wish it wasn't working out so that I would learn to stop doing this, because honestly, I'm just butchering this pattern. The only thing I'm keeping is the charts, but I think it's gonna end up looking good. Okay, so here's my drawing to make it make sense, right? We've got the body, we've got little short rows here at the top, sleeve with some tapering decreases, and then this is the additional stitches that I'm gonna cast on to kind of make it a pseudo setting sleeve. That's the end goal. So it's gonna be somewhere between like a drop shoulder and a set-in sleeve drop shoulder. But I've tried it on several times. I've blocked what I have so far, and it honestly, it fits fine. So I think it's working out well. My last item of business, besides the side panels, is to do a collar. And the collar pattern is 1 repeat of this braid kind of around the center. So I've made the neckline just a little bit bigger because in the pattern it kind of ends up being a stand-up mock neck, and I don't want it to be quite that wide. So I made the gap just a little bit bigger, and then hopefully it'll lay down flat. I'm gonna do a needle size down or 2 or 3 so that fits in well. But yeah, stay tuned. We're almost to the end here. I'm gonna seam everything up, get those last pieces sewn in, and we should be good. But don't take this recommendation, or don't take this as a recommendation. I don't think this is a good way to knit a sweater. I don't condone this. We know better, but it's working. So we're gonna see what happens, and we're gonna hope for the best. Honestly, the color work looks so good. I love this floral pattern. Kind of want to do something with just that, and I really like the braid. The braid is featured down the top of the sleeve too, which I think this kind of perpendicular junction looks so nice. So we're loving that. Okay, now that we've got the most chaotic thing out of the way, the simplest thing that we're working on is, or I shouldn't say simplest, but the easiest to describe, is the Vivi pattern by Sari Nordlund. beautiful cables. I'm knitting this for my partner. We're going to Iceland, and that Colorwork is gonna be for me. This is gonna be hers. I blocked it, so it's fresh here. Now, okay, people have told me this about Sari Nordlund patterns in the past, that the sleeves tend to be a little bit small, specifically with the book club pullover. So I'm finding that the sleeve is a little bit small here too, and so I think I'm gonna take this out and redo it. That's kind of why I blocked it at this point, because it's got the same cable motif going down the top here. Sorry, my camera keeps running out of storage, but I think we've got it sorted out now. Anyway, I'm gonna take out this sleeve that I have done. I'm gonna go up a size because I just look at the difference of how deep the armhole is set here and then how pulled in it is on this side. I've heard that a lot with the book club pullover by Sari Nordlund, that the sleeves run a little bit small. I thought it was just because it was all over cable work, but it's possible that her patterns just tend to have smaller sleeves. I'm not sure, but I think that's gonna be an easy fix. I blocked it with what I have done. I haven't done any decreases on this sleeve because I thought it was looking a little smaller than I wanted it to be. So I'm gonna redo that, but I think we're making great progress here. The cables look so good. Like, are you kidding? This is Woolstock worsted by Blue Sky Fibers, which is one of my favorite wools. And I love it. It looks great. It's also a drop shoulder. I've got the collar done here. I did a collar that's a little bit shorter than the pattern recommends, which was the goal. Just to have it fit a little bit looser around the neck and not really have it be that, you know, 2-inch thick collar. So, like, we're looking great. I really, really love the detail here of the way that this stitch pattern comes down around the collar too. I think details like that make a sweater look so professional, like the way that the collar is framed and then it just works seamlessly in. Oh my God, I set something on my chest again and it caught on my necklace again. I'm not allowed to wear a necklace anymore when I film. Anyway, I think that detail makes it look so professional. Got a little bit more of the body to do. Honestly, it's still a little bit wet from blocking, so I'm gonna let that guy dry the rest of the way. But I think it's looking really good. I'm really excited about the way it's turning out. Got some great whips on the needles right now, and I'm starting to get to the point where I can see a couple whips clearing up so I can have space to finish a couple more. I haven't, excuse me, sorry, the hiccups just took over. I haven't made any progress on my Flettegenser since the last video, so I didn't really want to talk about it too much. This is a Norwegian pattern that's free. It's only in Norwegian, so I've been Google translating it. But I've had it on holders for a little while because I thought it wasn't going to be the right size. Long story short, it does fit, so we've got the go-ahead to keep working on that. Big folded collar. I love how this is turning out and I really love the color. So we're gonna get back to working on that soon. Just hasn't been the top of the priority list. I also have a pattern that is a Colorwork round neck yoke that my tech editor is working on right now. So I should have a test call coming for that soon. I have a cable pullover from last year that is tech edited and graded. The pattern is ready for test knitting. I just haven't gotten that sent out yet. So I've got that on the docket, and then I also have Colorwork mittens that are written up, tech edited, graded. That's ready to go. So we'll have some test knits starting again soon. It's been a minute, but we're back. It was a really busy spring, early summer, but we're starting to get into a time where I have a little bit more time for knitting admin again. So we've got things to do. I'm gonna cast on a second sample of my Colorwork yoke sweater. And so that should be probably in the next video. I've got charts for that done. My tech editor is working on final sizing and grading for that. So it should be good. I think that's all the updates I have for you. Let me know if you have any questions. I still do want to film a Q&A. So let me know if there's any other questions you want to ask. Knitting, life, healthcare, podcasts, skincare. I don't know. Don't ask me about skincare. Just things in general. But yeah, I'm trying to think if I have any other things to discuss. I think that's it. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!